Wisconsin's 17-0 season-opening victory over Miami. A night of adversity, resilience, and defensive dominance. The lights were bright, the air was thick with anticipation, and Camp Randall Stadium once again roared as Wisconsin football returned to action. What unfolded on Thursday night was not a clean, high-flying offensive showcase. Instead, it was a gritty, hard-earned, almost old-school performance that reminded fans of what Wisconsin football has long been about: resilience, defense, and finding ways to win when things don't go according to plan. The Badgers walked away with a 17-0 shutout victory over the Miami Redhawks, improving to 1-0 on the young season. Yet the story of the night wasn't simply about the scoreboard. It was about adversity in the form of another quarterback injury, the immediate pressure on a young replacement, a defense that rose to the occasion, and a coaching staff forced to reveal just enough of its new offensive identity to leave fans both encouraged and cautiously concerned. This was Wisconsin football in 2025, imperfect, physical, and full of storylines. To fully understand the significance of this win, we need to unpack the drama, the struggles, and the flashes of promise that defined the night. Quarterback curse continues. 3 years, 3 injuries. It's becoming an unfortunate tradition in Madison. When the season begins, the starting quarterback doesn't last long. For the 3rd straight year, Wisconsin saw its opening day quarterback exit with an injury. This time, it was Billy Edwards Jr., the Maryland transfer who had just begun settling into Jeff Grimes' system and showing glimpses of efficiency in the short passing game. On only the team's 3rd drive of the game, Edwards went down on what looked like an innocuous handoff. There was no brutal hit, no pile-up of defenders, just the cruel twist of bad luck. He limped toward the injury tent, disappeared into the locker room, and never returned. While initial reports suggested the injury might not be season-ending, the timing could not have been worse. A team that had spent the entire offseason building its offensive identity around Edwards suddenly had to rely on its backup in the very first game. Edwards' brief time on the field was promising, if imperfect. He commanded 2 long drives, including a 15-play, 69-yard march that ended in a field goal, and another extended possession that reached deep into Miami territory before stalling. He showed timing and accuracy in the quick passing game, keeping the chains moving, but his deep throws left something to be desired. Twice, he had opportunities to connect with wide receiver Vinny Anthony, and both times the ball sailed too far. A 3rd deep attempt ended with Edwards throwing under duress and coming up short. Those missed opportunities hinted at what Wisconsin's offense could become with Edwards under center. A balance of rhythm passes, occasional explosive shots, and play-action creativity. But with his injury, those possibilities became distant dreams, and the weight of the offense shifted to sophomore Danny O'Neal. Danny O'Neal thrown into the fire. Replacing a starting quarterback in Week 7 of a season is hard enough. Doing so in the very first game on short notice under the bright lights is an entirely different challenge. That's the position O'Neal found himself in Thursday night, and his performance was the definition of a roller coaster. From the outset, Miami made it clear they weren't going to let O'Neal get comfortable. They brought pressure early and often, testing the young quarterback's poise in the pocket. On one of his very first snaps, O'Neal was sacked, a play that set the tone for the rest of his evening. Too often, he held the ball too long, waiting for routes to develop or hesitating to make a decision, and the Redhawks capitalized by racking up 3 sacks. Each one seemed to come at the worst possible time, stalling promising drives and keeping Wisconsin's offense from finding any real rhythm. O'Neal's passing was just as inconsistent. He missed several makeable throws, including a pair of screen passes that sailed high and a badly underthrown ball that could have been a touchdown to Jaden Ballard. He also had a couple of turnover-worthy throws that, fortunately for Wisconsin, fell harmlessly to the turf. Yet for all of his struggles, O'Neal also flashed the potential that made him a coveted recruit. His mobility provided a spark, especially on designed runs and read options. On a critical 4th down, he kept the ball himself and bulldozed forward for the conversion, injecting energy into the offense and keeping the defense honest. When O'Neal was decisive, particularly in the short passing game, the offense moved efficiently. Perhaps his best throw of the night came on a back shoulder strike to tight end Grant Steck, threading the ball between two defenders for a first down. It was the kind of throw that showed what he's capable of when his timing and confidence align. Still, the overarching theme was inconsistency. O'Neal is a quarterback with tools, but one who is still developing the decision-making and composure necessary to guide a Big Ten team through the gauntlet of a season. If Edwards misses extended time, Wisconsin's ability to reach its ceiling will depend on how quickly O'Neal can grow into the role. The real story, a suffocating defense. While the offense wavered, the defense left no doubt. Wisconsin pitched its first shutout in a season opener in years, holding Miami, OH, to just 117 total yards of offense. In a sport increasingly dominated by high-powered attacks, this was a reminder that Wisconsin still knows how to win the old-fashioned way, by dominating the line of scrimmage and suffocating opponents. The Red Hawks never found their footing, largely because Wisconsin refused to let them. Against the run, the Badgers were relentless. Edge defenders Mason Reiger and Sebastian Cheeks set the tone early, blowing up outside runs and funneling everything back inside. The defensive line clogged the middle, giving Miami no room to breathe. When Miami turned to the passing game, things didn't get any easier. Their offensive line, already inexperienced, was overwhelmed by Wisconsin's pressure. Reiger and Cheeks spent much of the night in the backfield, forcing Miami quarterback Daquan Finn into hurried throws and scrambling situations. Even when Finn tried to create with his legs, Wisconsin's linebackers and safeties stayed disciplined, closing gaps and preventing him from extending drives. The secondary, meanwhile, played nearly flawless football. They refused to give up explosive plays, tackled well in space, and sealed the win with 2 fourth-quarter interceptions by safety Preston Zachman. Defensive coordinator Mike Tressel dialed up blitzes at just the right moments, mixing aggression with discipline and keeping Miami completely off balance. This was not just a good defensive performance, it was a statement. Wisconsin has depth across its front seven, rotating players freely without sacrificing effectiveness. If this unit continues to grow, the Badgers could boast one of the stingiest defenses in the Big Ten. Jeff Grimes shows his hand, just a little. For much of the offseason, fans wondered what Jeff Grimes' offense would look like in Madison. Known for his pro-style creativity, heavy use of play action, and ability to tailor schemes to his personnel, Grimes was expected to modernize Wisconsin's traditionally run-heavy attack without abandoning its physical roots. Thursday night didn't provide the full picture, largely because of the quarterback injury. But in the glimpses we saw with Billy Edwards on the field, there were encouraging signs. Grimes used motion and misdirection to create openings in the run game, giving playmakers opportunities to find space. He leaned on the quick passing game to neutralize Miami's aggressive blitzing, allowing Edwards to distribute the ball effectively. The deep passing game was clearly part of the plan, too, with multiple shots dialed up. While Edwards and O'Neal both missed their opportunities, the scheme created favorable matchups that will be there again in future weeks. The play-action looks, in particular, were effective in springing receivers open, even if execution fell short. The bottom line: Wisconsin fans should be cautiously optimistic. Grimes' offense showed potential, but it also showed how dependent that potential is on quarterback play. With Edwards, the ceiling looks significantly higher. With O'Neal, the path may be bumpier, but the foundation is in place. What the win means going forward. At the end of the day, Wisconsin is 1-0. Style points don't count in the standings, and a shutout is always something to celebrate. But this game leaves as many questions as answers. Quarterback health. The biggest storyline is Edwards' injury. If he's back quickly, Wisconsin can continue building toward its offensive identity. If not, O'Neal must grow up fast. Defensive identity. The defense looks like a strength, and if it continues playing at this level, it will keep Wisconsin in every game. Offensive ceiling. Grimes' scheme has promise, but execution must improve. Quarterback consistency will be the key to unlocking its potential. For now, the Badgers can enjoy the win. They stared adversity in the face, overcame it, and opened the season with a shutout. It wasn't pretty, but it was Wisconsin football. A reminder that grit, discipline, and defense can still carry the day.